All right, talk about a couple things. Akuma, what did I think about Akuma? And I want to talk a little bit more about the Street Fighter story because I got some retarded comments, and so I will respond to those. What did I think about Akuma? You know what I thought about it? I just thought of the homogenization of the game more and more. Look at these fucking hitboxes in the game. Is DJ, is he hitting Cammy there? Nope, but apparently he's hitting something. Cammy looks like she's hitting something, right? DJ, he doesn't even have to hit you. And I'm only bringing this up because I saw some of these comments while I was like groaning my eyes watching people talk about Akuma. Like, oh, Akuma's hurricane kick actually doesn't hit you ducking. And what was it, fucking Max? Does Max actually play fucking Street Fighter or does he just chill? He made some comment, you have to go watch the videos, like, oh, it's not normal for moves to actually like miss you when you're ducking traditionally in Street Fighter. Have you only been playing Street Fighter recently? Like, what the fuck was he talking about? But anyway, we'll show how retarded this is again. Just, there's such, it's like Street Fighter 6 was made by a fucking robot. It's terrible. So DJ doesn't have to hit you to hit you. Akuma's hurricane kick, even though he's closer to you, doesn't hit you when you're ducking. And they tried to make some big deal that it's like, oh, it's so crazy that Akuma has a stand hard kick where the second hit hits you, doesn't hit you ducking. And then in the same very video, in the same fucking video, they show Akuma doing a stand hard kick to hit Ryu's low forward, even though he's not touching him. His kick is right here. It's going to hit Ryu, which is just crazy because like I said, Street Fighter 6 is not I made that video recently talking about being intuitive and everything like that. New video games, they're actually unintuitive if you actually play them because they're visually deceptive, okay? Akuma does not hit Ryu, but then it forces him to stand, so then his second hit hits anyway. Even though they made a big deal that like, oh, the second hit of the stand roundhouse doesn't hit you ducking, so be careful. And then people will talk about, oh, footsies are so amazing in Street Fighter 6 and these newer games, not like old Street Fighter. Oh, old Street Fighter and footsies was so cheap. You know what? If this was old Street Fighter, guess what? First of all, if we were playing footsies in an old game, to hit an old character, they were doing a duck forward, we would have had to use a fucking hop kick or something like that. Or we would have had to sweep or, hit their low forward with an attack that is actually hitting them. But in these new school games that they want to pretend are the craziest, oh, footsies are so amazing in new school games, Akuma does an attack that does not even hit you in footsies. It then forces you to stand and he gets this combo after it. This is apparently amazing gameplay design of new school Street Fighter. Are you kidding me? And also remember the homogenization. Oh, it's so amazing that Akuma has a jump medium punch that can now juggle you. And so he can then juggle in the super fireball. I was like, oh my God. So you're telling me one of the things that used to make Ryu unique in Street Fighter was they gave him his jump medium punch, the jump strong, because he can then juggle with it. Now Ken can juggle with it in Street Fighter 6. Oh, now Akuma can juggle with it in Street Fighter 6. Wow, these characters are so different, even though they somehow are becoming more and more similar. This is cool. This is not homogenization to you. It's just the game's a fucking joke to me, I think, right? Again, look at these hitboxes. Remember, this doesn't hit Zangief. This doesn't hit Zangief, even though it's completely inside of him. I remember taking that picture. That doesn't hit Zangief, though. Isn't that crazy? But this will hit Ryu, even though his kick is flying over his goddamn fucking head. Give me a fucking break. So to answer, to comment on some of the retarded Street Fighter comments I was getting at, though. I've said this many times before. There's some comments like, oh, you don't know anything about the Street Fighter story. It's so cool. You're retarded. You've never played the games. Listen, I've played the games through multiple variations of the story with multiple canons. I've lived long enough that I have survived multiple different canons of what is real in Street Fighter, okay? I understand some of the stuff I'm talking about does not apply to new Street Fighter. And that's what I'm getting at, because the new canon is retarded. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I've said it should go back to how it was. Go back to some of the foundational stuff. I know some of the stuff I was saying does not make sense in New Street Fighter, because New Street Fighter makes no fucking sense. I know the canon is different. Okay? I want you to think about this. First of all, I don't know, do people have any idea how to write a story or anything like that? Or what makes a good story? The story of Street Fighter doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, I want you to think about this. Why are you supposed to fear Akuma? Akuma is not actually a threatening character in Street Fighter anymore. If you actually think about what the real canon is, okay? I want you to think about this. You're supposed to fear Akuma, right? Because he is stronger than Ryu, supposedly. And he supposedly is able to beat, Ryu's master, all this kind of shit like that, right? Like when you tell an audience, there has to be like some plausible deniability or like, what was that? Sense of suspension of disbelief that this could happen, everything like that. There's no reason for you to have this suspension of disbelief that Akuma is a threatening character, okay? Because first of all, Ryu is not even a threatening character in the lore of Street Fighter. Originally, Ryu beat Sagat, who was the strongest, the world champion, whatever. And he beat him so bad, he left a scar on his chest. He humbled the supposed strongest character ever in Street Fighter at the time, right? The world's strongest, the king of fighters. But now you have to remember, that's not Ryu's story anymore. Ryu's story now is he was losing to Sagat and he cheap shotted Sagat when Sagat wasn't ready. So first of all, now Sagat's story makes no sense, okay? Sagat's story makes no sense whatsoever. Why is he evil? Why did he go so evil that he works for M. Bison? It makes no sense. He cheap shotted you. At the world tournament, this fucking asshole cheap shotted you. Ryu would be banned from all tournaments for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? Are we going to forget that? Ryu would never be allowed in another tournament. He just cheap shotted Sagat when Sagat was supposedly helping him up and he turned evil. Ryu, you're banned for the rest of your life. Okay? Ryu's not threatening, right? It's supposed to be that, again, go back to Ryu, this whisper of a hero, this wandering hero, showed up with this martial art that nobody had ever heard of before, with all these powerful techniques that were so powerful that Sagat had to copy, which again, now we say Sagat wasn't copying Ryu's Dragon Punch because apparently the Dragon Punch is not a threatening attack and it only works when you're not expecting it. He's retarded. Okay. So if this secret martial art cannot actually beat anybody without some sort of shenanigan, you don't fear Ryu. You don't fear this other martial art. You're supposed to fear Akuma. Why do you fear Akuma? Oh, well, Akuma did the Raging Demon to Ryu's master. Oh, well, you forgot that the Raging Demon is not actually a threatening move because the Raging Demon has no actual win record. Okay? Akuma did not beat Ryu and Ken's master anymore with the Raging Demon. As a matter of fact, the Raging Demon is such a threatening move. Goken, Ryu's master, he just fucking fell asleep. I fell asleep. The news story is I fell asleep for 5 years. And now I'm going to wake up. Oh, geez. So you're telling me Ryu and Ken, why do they want to fight Akuma anymore? Akuma's not threatening. These two brothers got in a fight, and Akuma was so threatening in the fight, Goken just fucking fell asleep for fucking 3 years. Or whatever the fucking they say it is. Oh shit, I should have told Ken and Ryu that I wasn't actually dead before they buried me. Did they check his pulse after the Raging Demon? Did he have to dig himself out of the grave? Now you might say, no, Clayton, actually, technically in the canon, it still does say that Akuma was able to hit the Raging Demon on their actually other master, the Grandpa. Oh, okay, so you hit the Raging Demon on the Grandpa, the 100-year-old Grandpa. Wow, what a threatening move. We already know Goken was that much older than Akuma. He fucking fell asleep, so we had to hit a geriatric karate master for the Raging Demon to be effective. Did you see? It doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck do you fear Akuma? There has to be some sort of past story experience to be like, whoa, we fear this secret martial art that everybody is secretly afraid of, that is such a legendary martial art, has no actual real victories in the canon anymore. Why does M. Bison fear Akuma. Akuma, well, geez, guys, his brother fucking fell asleep during their fight. Ryu, well, he didn't actually beat Sagat. Why the fuck do you care? Why don't you care about Ken? Ken is a fucking rich kid who doesn't train like Ryu, who has actual tournament wins, and all this kind of shit. Why don't you care about Ken? Ken is more threatening. Ryu has dedicated his life to a martial art, and he should be banned from all tournaments because he's never actually won anything. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. This guy wasn't talking shit, but he was bringing up something like, oh, well, isn't some of this in the Ryu final manga or whatever? And yeah, some of it is, but some of those mangas they've actually tried to put into the Street Fighter canon. And like, say, the Hugo story. So I think the final manga story is Ryu and Hugo fight. And it's like pick your poison of what is more retarded. Ryu and Hugo fight in the final manga. And Hugo falls on top of Ryu when he does a dragon punch. And that knocks Ryu out. That's fucking retarded. But then in the canon story of why they fight or whatever it is, isn't the ending like Hugo says, if I can withstand your strongest attack ever, you have to, you have to wrestle with me for a while. Isn't that what it is then in the actual video game or whatever, that canon? So you're telling me Hugo, this fucking random fucking wrestler thug from Final Fight, is able to withstand the Shin Shoryuken. And so Ryu agrees to be in a wrestling match with him. Okay, yeah. Well, what is more retarded? I prefer to believe that neither exist. They're so retarded. Okay? Well, like I said, and this is this is me. I think Guy is a cool character. Guess what? In the supposed canon of fucking Final Fight, Guy beats Rolento, Hugo, and Andre, doesn't he? Oh, and Saddam or something like that. I know they said something like in the Final Fight canon, each character supposedly has beaten so many guys when they went on their path or something like that. They weren't actually together in the canon, right? So, but whatever the case, Guy has beaten all these characters. Just a random ass ninja, whatever, doing his shit. But Ryu can't beat random fucking Hugo. Ryu doesn't do fucking shit, okay? And that's not saying that, I think Guy is cool, but Guy should not have all these victories where Ryu is a fucking jobber. No one would care about Ryu. He's a fucking asshole. He just turns evil and throws a fireball. Why do you care? Why does M. Bison care about these characters? It makes no fucking sense. Do you know what I mean? So, anyway, the point is, when you make a story, there's got to be some sort of reason to believe that these characters are threatening. And the canon of Street Fighter is such a fucking mess. It's just absolutely goddamn retarded. So, anyway, that's what I have to say about that. If you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.